from a small town. There's not many people in that neighborhood, and I wanted to get out of that neighborhood. So the route that I took to get out of that was to go to school. And whenever
Okay.
I went to Hancock High School, which was an all white school, and it was a 5A school, it was probably like 10 black people there, including the teachers. And so, we once I left that high school, I went to Pearl River Community College. I transferred from community college, and then I went up to Ole Miss, where I pursued mechanical engineering. And I ended up moving from Mississippi to Alabama, and then I moved to Georgia, and that's why I was trying to get towards more towards the East Coast. So for now, it was in Georgia. Potentially, we may or may not go to Florida, but for now, we in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's pretty nice out here.
Okay, that's cool, man. So hold on, let's backtrack a little bit here. You said that you were in an all white school, you know, and was it anything different there like throughout that time too, or no? Like were you just like it was just you were just accepted? Was it easy for you?
I wouldn't say it was so much easy. I was bullied a lot through those years. The people that may or may not be watching on my Facebook that went to school with me, they know that I was bullied, and there was a lot of racism there. It was always probably from middle school to high school, it was a lot of bullying. I started getting into MMA around my junior year and senior year, which
Whoa.
actually changed my whole mindset and perspective, and was giving me the ability to protect myself when I need it, not actually to hurt somebody intentionally, but to protect myself when needed. So there was a lot of racism there. I've been in the office so many times I can't even count. I started my senior year in alternative school. I've been unfortunately taken to jail on some false occasions, and it was pretty crazy there.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of friends there, and it wasn't. I can't really say that I'm glad I didn't. I can't go back and be like, man, I wish I could take that all back. But it was definitely a learning experience. It was a learning experience, and it kind of opened me up to this world of racism and discrimination, which kind of altered my mind a little bit, but also gave me kind of like the motivation to get out of that scenario and get into a scenario where everybody's accepted based off who they are and not just because of the color of their skin.
Yeah, that's interesting. And one of the, you know, I'm gonna get back on that just a little bit, but tell me about the mindset of the MMA. I feel like, like you said, that MMA helped you kind of obviously change mindset on a couple of things. Also, obviously defend yourself because you wanted to. But
Hmm.
tell me about what MMA really like. How did that prepare your mind? What did they go through with that? I mean, because I take a little bit of boxing classes, dude, and I get tired just by lifting up my arms, dude. It's crazy, you know. So tell me a little bit about like just that mentality. How did that shift from like being bullied to like a different confidence level, or what's up?
So martial arts, there's many different martial arts. I trained jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu first, and then I kind of geared into Muay Thai, boxing, and a little bit of Taekwondo. So what martial arts did for me as far as my mindset, it kind of put me in a calmer place because when you start to learn different techniques, you know that you can really hurt somebody. And it's not to say that to brag, but it's true story. There are individuals that are well equipped in these different martial arts that can really kill somebody with their hands. But what it teaches you is that self control, and it teaches you that self discipline as a person to step away from situations or not even bring yourself to a potential situation. So that helped me throughout the years of staying away from trouble. Now, that doesn't
Mm.
eliminate the fact that I don't see the trouble or I don't see the issues or that I'm not aware of the issues, but it keeps me and whatever's around me protected because I can only control what's around me. And the martial arts will definitely control your ego because when I say there's so many different levels and different tiers of individuals that can fight, down to the reaction time, down to the reflex, down to the strength, down to the whole physical body of somebody. It's just crazy. And I've had two fights. I've had my first fight that I took last notice that I lost by decision, and then my second fight I won by knockout, and it was probably in the Biloxi Coliseum, maybe somewhere between 700 or 800 people that was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I never forget hearing my mom over everybody in the crowd. But
You
you
can
know,
hear, like, you can
when I
distinguish the voice.
exactly, and the experience of being in there is whenever you're in martial arts, you're training together as a team. But when it's time to go take on the real world or actually go into that ring and they shut the doors and they say, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" And then it's fight. Now it's just you and that enemy. And so now you got to put everything aside. You gotta implement logic. You gotta implement emotion. You gotta keep that balance, and you gotta keep that self control. Because if you lose that self control, then you get hurt. And that's the same thing in life. If you lose that self control, you end up in jail, or you end up dead, or whatever the case may be. So that's what martial arts did for me as a person. It started to, because I grew up angry. I grew up angry because I was around a lot of racism. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand, why people acted this way, why I was bullied. And so when I started to have that more self control and more self discipline, things started calming down for me.